Resistance beliefs stop you manifesting your dreams, so here's what you can do about it. Hi, I'm Gail Marie from Six Dimensions of Healing, and I've been a spiritual counsellor for over 23 years now, guiding people towards their soul's purpose. Did you know that having resistance can stop you from manifesting your dreams? Just because of some beliefs you formed as a child? Well, we're going to uncover some of these and show you how you can turn your luck around. So first of all, what is resistance? Resistance is pushing against something, anything, whether it's pushing against something we don't want or we think is wrong, or whether it's for somebody else. We're pushing against something. Resistance is the pushing against of something unwanted in your life. It's what we feel when we're arguing in our minds about something we want or need or do, or just aren't doing it. And it can also be as simple as not agreeing with ourselves. For instance, when you're saying some affirmations like, I'm beautiful, I love myself, I'm rich, and your mind looks at that and says, look between the cracks. No, you're not. No, you're not. So the gap between where you're standing and where you want to be is the gap created by resistance. This resistance can be illustrated by building ourselves up with one hand by saying what we do want and tearing our optimism down with the other hand by saying, well, that's not true, is it? So there's that inward fight. But emotional resistance is really a measurement of our beliefs. Resistance is the tension between what we want and what we believe, and what we believe creates our reality. So when our mind doesn't believe what we're saying or trying to convince it of, then it will argue the point and throw it right out the window. And there's nothing you can say that will convince it otherwise. What we need to begin to do is question our own beliefs. Because often what we're pushing against is a belief we have accepted as true, and it doesn't necessarily have a basis in truth. Just as resistance bands need a lot of muscle tension to hold them in an extended position, so too does our mind use a lot of effort to keep convincing us of what it wants us to believe. And this tension or constant barrage of negative thoughts and statements produced, seemingly automatically in the mind, it creates resistance. But beliefs are not always true. The beliefs we have about ourselves aren't necessarily based in truth. Like when you were told as a child you were useless. That's not true. And when you were convinced that it was wrong to be selfish, or that kids should be seen and not heard. None of those are true. Let me ask you a question. Do you love yourself? Yes or no? Do you believe that you are lovable? Did you know that there are people who love themselves but say they don't? Do you know that there are people who are lovable but don't consider themselves worthy of love? I chose this term in particular because many people were brought up to believe that loving themselves was a really selfish thing to do. When I went to school, it was a taunt people used to say to others that they thought they were too big for their boots. Look, they love themselves. It wasn't considered a favourable trait. But I think you'll agree with me that there is no basis of truth in whether somebody is lovable or not. It's not because they're rich or poor, or the colour of their skin. It's up to them to decide whether they're worthy of love or not. It's not up to you, it's not up to somebody else. What I'm getting at here is that there is no yardstick to measure whether somebody loves themselves or not. Because the truth is that we are all deserving of love, but we don't all feel loved, loving, or lovable at times. And because of this belief that we aren't deserving or that we have to work hard to love, we do. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So then we become resistant to allowing love into our lives. And resistance causes us emotional pain. It's the tension of not being aligned with our soul guidance. or on track to our soul's blueprint. And the pain can feel like anger, depression, insecurity, revenge, disappointment, jealousy, and many other uncomfortable emotions. It certainly gets our attention. So, why do we even have it? Well, resistance communicates how we're travelling between where we are and where we want to go. It's an indicator of whether we're getting closer to our soul's blueprint or further away. Resistance is not a thing or even an emotion. It's an indicator of whether we're getting closer to our dreams or the thing that we want, or we're moving further away. And we need this, otherwise we'd have no idea how we're travelling. We'd be a ship without a rudder, just bobbing around in the ocean. And it works very simply. You remember the kids' game to find a hidden object. Somebody would say, oh, you're getting closer, warmer, warmer, colder. This is what resistance tells us, whether we're warmer or colder in relation to what we want. And it indicates this by how we feel. The better we feel, the closer we're getting to our soul's blueprint, and the worse we feel, the more tension and the further we are from our soul's blueprint. Actually, we're further away from everything we want. So to connect with our soul's blueprint and stay on track, we need to question our beliefs. And that's something you can begin today. Thanks for joining me.